If you consider yourself a sporty driver and you enjoy responsive handling, and you prefer a taut and composed ride over the softer experience of a touring tire, a performance tire may be right for you. And if you like the performance feel, but you don't necessarily push your vehicle to the limits, and you're looking for longer tread life than you typically get from an ultra-high performance product, something from the high performance all-season category may be just right. High performance all-season tires typically deliver more mileage, a more forgiving ride, and often improve light snow traction over their ultra-high performance counterparts, which makes products from the category a convenient way for drivers to ease into the world of performance tires without some of the associated drawbacks. Firestone's new Firehawk AS is part of an extensive refresh of their passenger car lineup, so to see how it stacks up against its competitive set, we conducted a real-world road ride and competitive track drive comparing it to the Goodyear Eagle Sport All-Season, Kumo X to PA31, and the Sumitomo HTR ASP02. Let's see what we found out. To begin the test, I'm driving on the Firestone Firehawk AS, and this tire responds quickly to steering inputs. It gives it a sharp and eager feeling that's befitting a high-performance all-season tire. The ride quality is appropriate for the category too. It's firm and well-controlled and has good isolation from both road noise and impact noise. Now I'm driving on the Goodyear Eagle Sport All-Season, and the ride on this tire does a good job of rounding over the sharp impacts. The handling feels athletic and it's responsive to steering inputs. It does create noticeable tread noise over most surfaces though. The sound blends into a broad white noise, but I notice it feels like I have to speak a little bit louder in this car than I do on the others. Next I'm driving on the Kumo X to PA31, and this tire has heavy and precise steering compared to the others in the group. It doesn't feel quite as eager and responsive to turn in, but it makes it easy to dial in the perfect amount of steering input every time. The tread pattern does create a low growl. It fades into the background very easily, but if you're listening for it, you can always hear it. Finally, I'm driving on the Sumitomo HTR ASP02, and this just feels like a high-performance tire. From the taut ride to the intuitive and linear steering, it's all completely appropriate for the category. Similar to some of the other tires in this test, it does have some tread noise to deal with. Like the Kumo, you can ignore it if you're not listening for it, but it's noticeable if you're particular about that kind of thing.
High-performance all-season tires aren't designed to deliver the maximum possible lateral grip or the fastest laps on an autocross course, but they're always ready for a spirited drive thanks to their sporty nature. These four tires provided the closest results in recent memory in our dry track testing, with a little over 0.2 of a second separating the average lap times and less than 4 feet between the shortest and longest 50 to 0 mph panic stops. The Firestone Firehawk AS was our team's preferred choice thanks to its balanced feel on the track, and the Goodyear Eagle Sport All-Season set the fastest average lap time and stood out with its immediate turn-in. On the wet track, the X to PA31 separated itself from the group, displaying confidence-inspiring levels of grip and a balanced, predictable nature. The Firehawk AS and HTR ASP02 were a little less than a second behind the Kumo. Of the two, the Firestone had the shorter stopping distance and more grip on the skid pad, but the Sumitomo did a better job of putting it all together, and it returned the faster average lap time. Rounding out the group was the Eagle Sport All-Season, which required nearly 2 additional car lengths to stop from 50 miles an hour and lap the track over 2.5 seconds slower than the Kumo.
High-performance all-season tires are ideal for someone who likes to have a little fun behind the wheel, but isn't necessarily an assertive or spirited driver. Kumo's X to PA31 is a good example of what can be expected from a high-performance all-season tire, with composed handling in the dry, athletic and civilized behavior on the road, and best-in-test wet grip. The Firestone Firehawk AS is our team's on-road and dry track favorite, thanks to its eager handling, responsive turn-in, and composed ride, but its wet capabilities would only qualify as acceptable. The Sumitomo HTR ASP02 has a performance feel both on and off the track, but it falls a little short on refinement and wet traction. Goodyear's Eagle Sport All-Season trails the rest of the group, with the lowest limits in the wet and elevated levels of tread noise. Capability in the ice and snow is an important consideration for high-performance all-season tires, and we're looking forward to the upcoming winter season so we can test all four to find out how each one performs during the challenge of wintertime driving. As we compare tires side by side, we find each one has its own personality, so it's not as easy as simply choosing between good and bad. So as you view our test results, it's important to focus on your priorities and what fits best with how, where, and what you drive. And also be sure to go to TireRack.com to view our full test report and to learn more about the tires featured in this test.